All right. Good evening. The hour of 7 p.m. having arrived, I will call to order this regular meeting of the Keene City Council. This meeting is being broadcast live on the City of Keene's YouTube channel and Spectrum Channel 1302. The video is also streamed on the city's website and is posted by the end of the next business day, barring any technical difficulties. If you would like to receive an electronic City Council packet to reference while viewing future broadcasts, please contact the City Clerk's office during business hours or go to the city's website and subscribe to the city meetings email list. The agenda is also accessible from any mobile device. Would our clerk please call the roll?
Kate M. Bosley.
Here.
Laura E. Tobin.
Here.
Michael J. Remy.
Online.
Randy L. Filia. Robert C. Williams.
Here.
Edward J. Haas.
Present.
Philip M. Jones.
Present.
Andrew M. Madison. Chris E. Roberts.
Here.
Jacob R. Favalise.
Here.
Brian J. Lake.
Here.
Catherine I. Workman.
Here.
Bettina A. Chadbourne. Thomas F. Powers.
Here.
Mitchell H. Greenwald.
Here.
Okay, so we are 12 present. The omnipresent voice in the over the speaker is Councilor Remy, who has requested to participate remotely. Councilor Remy, would you please state your reason for your request? Well, we can't hear you, so hold on a second.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Got it.
All right. I'm traveling for work, if you can't tell by the outfit. I'm alone in this room. I'm happy to keep my camera off so you're not distracted by my bright yellow vest, but just wanted to say hello.
Well, glad to have you, and Councilor Madison is here too. But any objections to Councilor Remy participating remotely? Seeing none. Thank you, Councilor. You are relieving me of having to guess whether we have a roll call or a hand raised to vote, so thank you. I'd like to recognize Councilor Bosley to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to recognize Councilor Greenwald for a motion.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to recommend adopting the minutes of the April 17, 2025 meeting as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Bosley. Are there any comments or corrections from council members? Seeing none, we'll go to a roll call vote.
Councilor Bosley.
Yes.
Councilor Tobin.
Yes.
Councilor Remy.
Yes.
Councilor Williams.
Yes.
Councilor Haas.
Yes.
Councilor Jones.
Yes.
Councilor Madison.
Yes.
Councilor Roberts.
Yes.
Councilor Favalise.
Yes.
Councilor Lake.
Yes.
Councilor Workman.
Yes.
Councilor Powers.
Yes.
Councilor Greenwald.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. Councilor Remy, we got? Yep.
Yes.
Thank you. The familiar face to my right this evening is our new city clerk, effective today. It is Terry Hood, who has served as deputy clerk for many years. Congratulations, Terry, and we are in full support of your stepping into the big shoes that you're filling. Thank you.
Thank you.
So if you care to relive any of the moments of recognizing Patty Little or seeing the oath of office administered to Terry earlier today, please go to the City of Keene website and or the Facebook page for City of Keene, and you can view these couple of events that have just we've celebrated. So, on your desks this evening, there are a bunch of announcements. I'm sorry this is going to go on for a little bit, but it is the beginning of May, and it's a busy month for spring has sprung, and there are a whole bunch of events and recognitions that we have this evening. So on your desk is a flyer for the second annual Keene Runway 5K event. And Dave Hickling's publicity manager, Sally Reinhardt, is also the race director for this event. It will take place at 9 a.m. on Sunday, May 18th at the Keene Dillon Hopkins Airport. There is an opportunity for participants to win prizes for all age groups up to 90, and 90 plus, excuse me. That's an age group. All participants are eligible to win up to a couple of flying lessons as well as other prizes. I think there are 36 different opportunities to win. There is a raffle, and the raffle and the food trucks at the event are there to help benefit the Keene Senior Center. The value of the prizes will be at least $100 and will run up to as much as $1,000. Tickets are $1 for the raffle. You can buy 15 for $10. And the Senior Center wishes to express its appreciation for this year's city's support. And most grateful to David Hickling, the airport director, for his support to make this event successful. So do come and participate. You can walk as well as run, but Sally says you're guaranteed to have a good time. I also was asked to give a shout out to the Monadnock Peer Support Group, which is doing its duck launch for the lighting, the lantern lighting, which they do to recognize Mental Health Awareness Month. It's also a fundraiser for the Monadnock Peer Support Group. That is taking place on May 31st, that evening over at Allison's Orchard. So another opportunity to support a good community cause. Green Up Keene was held this last Saturday. We have a report from the Public Works Department that they had over 300 volunteers this year. They had 41 different organizations in the city of Keene that participated, and all told collected 3,280 pounds of refuse. The department wishes to thank all of those who participated, and I thank all of us here and through the city staff that made an effort to encourage people throughout the city to participate. That was a really good success. It set records for number of people and the amount of trash collected. Another shout out to the Keene to our Department of Public Works staff. I participated this week in the Arbor Day celebration. That event was organized by Mitchell Smith and Mark Allen, who together with fourth grade teachers Mrs. Gianferrari and Ms. Elsesser brought 40 Franklin School students to participate in the Arbor Day planting of 2 Armstrong maple trees at 137 Washington Street. The planting and the documentation of the event, which was done by Asa Kramer of the city staff, helped Keene qualify for its 47th Tree City designation. So we've completed 46. This is part of our 47th Tree City designation documentation. That too you can find on the City of Keene Facebook page. Along with May is the Mental Health Awareness Month, and the school superintendent, Rob Millay, organized an ice bucket challenge here locally in Keene, calling attention to Mental Health Awareness Month. in which he asked, and I did participate. So Asa Kramer documented me getting dunked by our executive assistant, Nicole Howe, and you can find that video on the City of Keene Facebook page as well. It's very exciting, I'm sure. And it was a little bit of fun. For Nicole, that is. And want to let you know that the mayors from Nashua, Concord, Laconia, and Franklin and I will be testifying on the state budget to the Senate Finance Committee on May 6th to carry our joint message of concern related to cuts in the state budget that will impact municipalities. If there are items related to the state budget, because this is before the Senate Finance Committee, if there are items in particular that folks would want me to call out, please let me know. I'll try and squeeze it into the 3 to 5 minutes that I'll be granted. And then finally, the council's summer schedule. Just want to reiterate some of the meeting cancellations that are incorporated into that. There will be no city council meeting on July 3rd, the Independence Day Eve. So that meeting, city council meeting, will be canceled. The rest of the July committee meetings, as well as our full council meeting on the 17th, on the 18th, that will be on the 17th of July, will be held as usual. And then our August 7th city council meeting will be canceled. So we've got a break between July 18th and August 21st, when the council's regular schedule will resume with a city council meeting on August 21st and committee meetings to follow thereafter. Okay, with that, we have some recognitions. And I'd ask folks as I call them up to please join me at the mic in the center. And first, I'd like to recognize Ogle Johnson. This is sort of like the Colonial Theater. They've got it taped off so that they're supposed to. We do. Ogle, thank you for joining us this evening. I'm going to read a tribute to Ogle that goes back in time to just to fill in some of the blanks in Ogle's past that we may or may not be familiar with. Ogle has his undergraduate degree in physics that he obtained at Siena College. He's got a master's degree in theology from Washington Theological Union and another master's degree in mathematics from the University of Georgia. And he capped off his academic degrees, in any case, with a PhD in mathematics from Brown University in 1990. That achievement led to Ogle coming to Keene State College in 1992, and he taught Keene State College in the Keene State College Mathematics Department for nearly 30 years. When asked of his most affirming moments teaching on Keene State College's, at Keene State College, Ogle's reply on the Keene State College website is, it was when his daughters and their classmates received excellent high school mathematics instruction from one of his former students. In fact, he's taught many students who made their careers in Keene teaching, including Ricky Greenwald, and other teachers that I've met in the Keene schools. He's taught students that went into our insurance industries in Keene, as well as computational fields like Jarrett Hood, Terry's husband.
And 2 on the council.
And others on the council.
2 on the council.
I'm not surprised that Brian Lake is a,
Yeah, Laura.
and Laura too, very good. 2 Keene State College grads, that's great. But Ogle's straightforward approach and his integrity earned him great appreciation from his colleagues and on and off the Keene State College campus, in our community and in his profession. Okel served on the college senate, which he chaired, and led the faculty union and the promotion and tenure committee. He became very active in leadership roles with the Mathematical Association of America, where he served in various leadership capacities from the year 2000 through 2016. He led the Northeast section of the Mathematical Association of America and served on the association's governing board for many years. Had he simply been an outstanding teacher and a leader in his field, it would have been sufficient. But when Keene State went through a leadership transition and President Treadwell was appointed president, she turned to Okel to fill the position of Keene State College Provost from 2019 through 2021, just prior to his retirement in the following year, 2022.
21,
In 21.
Yeah.
Darn it, I missed that
Yeah,
one.
21.
So had Okel simply retired, his accomplishments would have been sufficient. But Okel kept pushing towards new goals and accomplishments. And now I don't want to make it a practice of sharing the age of our honorees. However, in Okel's case, it is important to understand why his achievements beyond our region have earned him this recognition. Okel turned 70, I hope I have this year right, in 2024. Leading up to this year's 2025 Boston Marathon, last year in 2024, at age 70, Okel ran 3 of the 6 legs of the global marathon competitions. He turned in impressive performances, 3rd in the Boston Marathon, 2nd in the Chicago Marathon, and 4th at the New York City Marathon in the age group 70 to 74, these were the highest placed Americans in all 3 events. Last year in 2024, Okel also turned in first place finishes in the half marathons, part of the Clarence DeMar, and in the East Bay in Rhode Island. He was also first in the 70 age group at the Holyoke St. Patrick's 10K race, both in 23 and 24. And locally, he was first place in the 70 and over group at the Keene Runway 5K, and maybe we'll see you there this month. And he won the 4 on the 4th and the Wobble Gobble as well. That's the Thanksgiving run, in case anybody's not picking that one up. So, 2 weeks ago, Okel ran the Boston Marathon for the 2025 year and placed 5th. Second among Americans with a time of 3 hours and 32 minutes. Just to give you some perspective, there were 228 finishers in Okel's age group at Boston this year. And it doesn't matter where Okel runs a marathon. I know enough of his times that he's within 10 minutes of this time every time he puts in 26.2 miles. It's really remarkable, your consistency. The age group 2025 World Championships this year are at the New York City Marathon on November 2nd. It is in the hometown that proudly claimed Clarence DeMar as its local hero. It is appropriate that we honor Okel for his accomplishments, for his academic career, and his celebrated athletic accomplishments to date, and that we wish him success as he trains up for the age group World Championships later this year. In recognition of your accomplishments and the visibility that you have brought to Keene's running community, Okel, I'm pleased to present you with this honorary Keene to the City as a token of our appreciation for your service and accomplishments. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. We get one photo.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jay. Keene has been a wonderful place to be, to live, to work, to raise a family. And I would not be a marathon runner if it weren't for Keene. When I came to Keene, I preferred basketball and tennis, but in a very busy work in academics, running was the easiest thing to fit in, so I started running, but not competitively, just for exercise. I became a competitive runner because I live on Baker Street. And every year I watched the marathoners run by. And as I watched them, I said, oh, if they could do this, I should be able to do this too. And so in 2003, I started running marathons. And for years, I just ran the Clarence DeMar. And I've run the Clarence DeMar every year it's run since 2003, except a couple years I ran the half marathon because I was running other marathons later on. But I've run Clarence DeMar every year since 2003, and that's been just great. And I've run with, originally I was a solitary runner, but over the years I've been a social runner, and that's been great too. Running with Scores Running Club and running with my friends Alan Stroshine and Mike Jablonski on Saturdays. So it's been a lot of fun. I wasn't, I was okay to start, but as I've gotten older, I haven't gotten that much slower, and so age has been on my side. And so as I got into my 60s, I started becoming very competitive in running, and 70s have been very, very good so far, and we'll see how long it lasts. I hope that many of you will join us for the Runway 5K. In my retirement, I'm doing various boards. Among them, I'm president of the Senior Center Board, and so that's a good benefit for us. And as counselors, I assume you know that there's also an open house at the airport that day. So it's in conjunction with the airport open house. So we hope many of you will come out and walk or run with us, and then stay around for the open house. So thank you very much for this recognition, and I'm very proud to be a Keene runner. Thank you.
Thank you, Wilson. I hope you'll allow a quick story. The one marathon I did, Okel was kind of my adjunct coach, and he taught me how to recover from a very sore event, which was when wanting to walk down the stairs, walk backwards, which is a trick in itself, but it was a lot less painful than the alternative. Thank you. All right, moving on. I'd like to ask Kara Fisk-Hennessy to join me in a proclamation on Kids to Park Day. So we are going to proclaim May 17th, 2025 as Kids to Park Day in Keene, whereas May 17th is the 15th Kids to Park Day organized and launched by the National Park Trust, held annually on the third Saturday of May. And whereas Kids to Park Day empowers kids and encourages families to get outdoors and visit local parks and public lands and waters. And whereas we should encourage children to lead a more active lifestyle to combat issues of childhood obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and hypercholesterol. And whereas Kids to Park Day will broaden children's appreciation for nature and outdoors. And whereas Kids to Park Day will recognize the importance of creating responsibility while enjoying the benefits of the outdoors. Now, therefore, I, as mayor, do hereby proclaim May 17, 2025 as Kids to Park Day. And please, let's publicize this event and get as many kids out there joining our Parks and Recreation staff on May 17th.
Wonderful.
Thanks for bringing that forward.
Thank you very much.
Any more advertising?
Yes, I will definitely take advantage of the advertising. It is May 17th from 12:30 to 3 o'clock at Pat Russell Park. We will be having a lot of fun activities, family-friendly activities happening out there, including face painting. There will be an inflatable soccer arena for kids to take part and just play in. I know, fun. It's definitely going to be great. We'll also have some sweet treats with Kona Ice and Toasty Buns being there, so please encourage everybody to come out to Kids to Parks Day. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to, Sam Jackson, if you will join me, Samantha. for a proclamation for the bicycle-friendly community. Hi, welcome. This is getting familiar to me. So whereas the city of Keene is a bicycle-friendly community that recognizes bicycling as an integral part of multimodal transportation system and has appointed a bicycle and pedestrian pathway advisory committee. And whereas bicycling can replace driving for short trips, thereby helping the region conserve energy, reduce traffic congestion, and improve air quality. And whereas bicycling to work is good for your health, as part of an overall program recommended in a report on workplace wellness by the National Center on Health, Physical Activity, and Disability. And whereas the bicycle mayor of Keene, is that you?
Sure.
Whereas the City of Keene's Bicycle and Pedestrian Pathway Advisory Committee, the Monadnock Alliance for Sustainable Transportation, Monadnock Food Co-op, the Southwest Regional Planning Commission, Healthy Monadnock Alliance, Monadnock Cycling Club, Pathways for Keene, the Keene Y, the Kiwanis Club, Keene State College, Local Crowd, Monadnock, and other public and private groups and individuals have worked together to promote commuting by bicycle throughout the month of May. And whereas, as a result of the city's and these groups' efforts, Keene once again is recognized nationally as a silver bicycle-friendly community. And whereas the Kiwanis Club is holding their annual Cool Wheels event for kids on May 3rd, the League of American Bicyclists is bringing a smart cycling class to the Keene Public Library on May 10th, and the second community bike ride will take place on May 17th. Now therefore, I as mayor do hereby proclaim May 25 as Bike Month in Keene and encourage all citizens to celebrate our city as a walkable and bikeable community by commuting to work, to school, to the store, to parks, and around the neighborhoods by walking or by bicycle. Sam, please give us more details on the events that you've got organized for the month. Thanks for bringing the proclamation forward.
Thank you for proclaiming. I would like to make a correction. I believe it's actually the 16th of May. It's the third Friday of every month going forward until October. We'll have a community bike ride that starts. We kick off at about 5:30, so we ask that folks arrive around 5:15 so we can go over safety and the route. And we start at Fire Dog Breads, yeah, it lasts about an hour. Yeah. Any questions? Okay, cool. All right, thanks.
Thanks, Sam. And finally, in the spirit of trying to combine motions or resolutions, this month there is nurse appreciation, teacher appreciation, police appreciation, let me make sure I get this right, firefighter appreciation, National Police Week, and National EMS or Emergency Management System Week. All and Frontline Worker Appreciation Month. So what we've done is combine all of these recognitions into a single proclamation, and I'd like to ask Tiffany Boyd and Bill Gillard, Tiffany, nurse at the medical center, Bill, the president of the Keene Teachers Union, Colin Zamor of the Keene, Lieutenant Zamor of the Keene Police Department, and Brian Ruoff. No, we don't need, we're going to recognize you on the 15th meeting. Yeah, give Don a heads up. All right, so this proclamation recognizes, whereas every day dedicated frontline workers, including nurses, teachers, police officers, firefighters, emergency medical services personnel, and countless others in vital roles stand as pillars of our community, providing essential services that ensure our safety, our health, and well-being, and prepare students for responsible positions in our community. And whereas each May, our nation traditionally recognizes the invaluable contributions of specific frontline professions through the National Nurses Month, Teacher Appreciation Week, National Police Week, Firefighters Appreciation Day, and National Emergency Medical Services Week. And this year, there is a nationwide call to broaden the recognition and spotlight the collective impact of all frontline workers as Frontline Worker Appreciation Month. And whereas the educators of the Greater Keene SAU 29 area demonstrate unwavering dedication and adaptability in the face of evolving educational landscapes, they craft engaging lessons, differentiate instruction to meet diverse learning needs, and provide individualized support to ensure every student has the opportunity to succeed. And whereas throughout the city of Keene, the healthcare professionals in our clinics, long-term care facilities, in-home care providers, and the 500 nurses at Cheshire Medical Center diligently provide essential and often life-saving care, demonstrating a profound commitment to our community's well-being. And whereas the city of Keene demonstrates its commitment to public safety through the dedication of its fire department, comprised of 48 frontline workers, 2 administrative positions, and the 2 chiefs of fire and police, who the police work alongside the efforts of 44 sworn law enforcement officers and the vital contributions at the fire department of the emergency medical technicians who provide essential pre-hospital care. And whereas times of crisis, such natural disasters as public health emergencies, frontline workers have consistently demonstrated their crucial role in maintaining essential services and bolstering community resilience. Now, therefore, I, as mayor, do hereby proclaim May to be Frontline Worker Appreciation Month and encourage all residents to join with me in recognizing and honoring the work and contributions of teachers and paraprofessionals, healthcare workers, firefighters, law enforcement officers, and EMS personnel and teachers. Thank you very much for your service, Officer. Thank you, Officer Zamor, Nurse Tiffany Boyd, and Teacher Bill Gillard. Thank you. I'll offer you the mic to say anything that is relevant to the Appreciation Week and recognitions that you'll be honoring in this coming month.
Just real quick, it's always been an honor and a great place to work at the Keene Police Department, and I mainly contribute that to the community, you folks seated here and the citizens that live in this area. So really thank you to all of you and to all of them, and it's just been an honor to provide the services that we can. Thank you.
Please, Tiffany.
On behalf of all the nurses at Cheshire, thank you for this meaningful recognition. We will officially kick off Nurses Week this next Tuesday, May 6th. And as part of that, we will be sharing this with all of the nurses so that they're aware that this proclamation happened.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you.
And I wanted to have Tiffany here once before. A year ago, she was recognized as a 40 under 40 by the union leader, one of 2 people in Keene that was recognized for that. So congratulations belatedly to you. And Bill, I'll give this to you in a second.
Thank you very much for this proclamation and recognition. I will say that Keene, historically, the community has been incredibly supportive of our schools, and which is really important, especially in some of these trying times where education is difficult. And so the community support for teachers, and it's not just teachers. There's so many different people that work to educate and care for our students. We work extensively with the Keene Police Department in helping to support our students, the nurses who are at our schools, helping to support the health of our students, and other organizations within the community like Monadnock Family Services, mental health care providers, and so they all kind of go in to allow us to do our job as teachers, like you said, paraprofessionals, classroom assistants, guidance counselors and all the different people that support students to give them the things that they need so that they can learn. So we really appreciate all the support and appreciate the recognition. So thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for being a part of this event. I appreciate it. All right. We'll conclude the, well, let's see, gotta get back on page. Okay, we have no nominations tonight, so they'll be coming in the next meeting. Communications?
So we have a communication from a Pamela Beeman, and she is writing on behalf of the Monadnock Center for Violence Prevention. They are offering the city donation of real property located on Damon Court.
And we'll refer this letter to the Finance Organization and Personnel Committee for their consideration.
We have a further communication. This is from Jeb Thurmond, and you may recall he had submitted an application to amend the zoning map related to 425 Marlborough Street. He has requested to withdraw his proposal, and so that is before us this evening.
If there are no objections, I will call from the PLD, Planning Licenses and Development Committee, Ordinance O 2025-07, and look for a motion from Councilor Bosley to accept the withdrawal.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the withdrawal of ordinance O 2025-07.
Second. Seconded by Councilor Jones. And anything further?
Sure, I could speak to this. So this ordinance was brought to us by a petitioner who was looking to have a zoning change, and this was heard at a public workshop at the Joint Planning, Licenses and Development and Planning Board. During that conversation, we found an alternative route that would better suit the petitioner, and so the petitioner offered to withdraw this.
If there are no further comments or objections, we'll need to do a roll call on this withdrawal.
Counselor Bosley?
Yes.
Counselor Tobin?
Yes.
Counselor Remy?
Yes.
Counselor Williams?
Yes.
Counselor Haas?
Yes.
Counselor Jones?
Yes.
Counselor Madison?
Yes.
Counselor Roberts?
Yes.
Counselor Favalise?
Yes.
Counselor Lake?
Yes.
Counselor Workman?
Yes.
Counselor Powers?
Yes.
Counselor Greenwald?
Yes.
And the motion carries unanimously. We'll move on to reports from council committees.
So our first report, and actually our only report, is an informational report from the Municipal Services, Facilities, and Infrastructure Committee, and this is relative to a verbal update on the downtown infrastructure project.
And if there are no further comments on this, we'll just accept the report as informational. And we'll move on then to city manager's comments.
Thank you. So starting first with manager's update, I just have a few updates for you this evening. The Eversource tree giveaway, the energy savings event. Eversource will be distributing approximately 20 trees to residents that previously signed up. The distribution center will be at Keene Ice parking lot on May 8th between noon and 7 p.m. And this was very, very popular. People really enjoyed this. They signed up really quickly, and I think we could have used a lot more trees for our community. Which next brings me to the city street tree planting program. The Public Works has solicited nominations from the public for locations to receive new street trees this spring. And we have received a number of requests, but we are still accepting suggestions. So residents are encouraged to use the SeeClickFix app to submit their nomination, or if they want, they can call the Public Works Department at 352-6550. The Highway Division plans to start planting the trees later this month. And an update regarding the Findings property. Restoration work is now complete. The parcel has been graded and seeded. Parks and Rec will be adding some trees later this spring. Unfortunately, we had a vehicle enter the property and make ruts in our freshly seeded lawn. The highway crew placed temporary boulders across the former driveway opening to prevent any reoccurrence. So if you see those boulders and you're wondering, why are they there? That is why they are there temporarily. And then we've got some updates from our parking office. We have begun the zone consolidation in Park Mobile. So we've done a consolidation of zones to allow for more flexible use of this system. So Central Square will become one unified zone. In the past, there were multiple zones. Main Street from West Street to Marlboro in Winchester will be another zone. And then all of the side streets, such as Washington Street and Court Street, will become a single zone rather than being split. So this will allow customers to pay once and move within the zone without incurring additional processing fees, whether using credit cards at pay stations or through Park Mobile. Additionally, customers will be able to use any pay station within that zone. For example, someone parked in the middle of the parking on Main Street can walk to any nearby pay station and pay with a card, even if their immediate meter is coin only. This wasn't possible under our previous setup. So this will hopefully make it a little easier to use and add some flexibility to the system. There's also a new text to park option we're launching, and this will allow customers to be able to text the zone number shown on the pay station to a number provided and receive a link to secure payment portal. This offers a convenient app-free payment option. So if you don't want to put more apps on your phone, that's another way for you to pay with no additional fees beyond the normal standard processing fee. So we hope these options will improve convenience, increase compliance, and reduce the need for enforcement. The new zones will appear in the Park Mobile app starting Monday. During this transitional period, there may be discrepancies between what customers see in the app and what is on the signs. We are advising users to follow the zone number listed in the Park Mobile app when making payments. And also, Chelsea North, our parking manager, shared that they are very excited about these changes. It marks a big step forward in modernizing and streaming our parking systems. These improvements will enhance both operational efficiency and customer experience. And she wanted to give a shout out to Linda, Lynn, Jane, and Brian and Rick for their hard work, and Rebecca and Asa for helping with communications and the informational output. So I hope this is going to be a welcome change in the downtown. And then what you're really interested in tonight is the budget. That's the big news. So tonight, on your desk, you will find the proposed fiscal 26 budget book. It will also be available electronically on the city's website, starting either tonight or tomorrow for public access. And I want to first begin by recognizing our new Finance Director, Carrie Chamberlain, and our Assistant Finance Director, Rob Constable. Carrie undertook the monumental task, and I'm not exaggerating, this is a big task of preparing this budget using a system entirely new to her, just months after assuming her role. And Rob has consistently stepped up throughout this transition, taking on additional responsibilities, not only since Mary Howe's retirement, but even well before that. And their dedication and hard work have been instrumental in bringing this complex budget together. I cannot say enough great things. Carrie has been working hard. We were emailing back and forth last night, trying to make sure we had everything correct and ready for today, and she has done just a fabulous job. I also want to give a special recognition to our HR Director, Assistant City Manager Beth Fox. Beth worked closely with our Finance Director throughout the budget process. She provided critical guidance regarding past practices. We have almost all new people in the finance office. We have a couple of people in their roles, but for the most part, many people are in new roles in that department, and so it was great to have Beth, who was once our finance director, helping and providing some of that assistance. And she also works with the all of the different payroll calculations. So every time I made a decision, they worked in the system to generate the new numbers and then had to double check. And so I tried not to change my mind too much, but you have to get to a point where you reach the number that you're trying to get to and you feel good about. And so they did a fabulous job with that as well. I also want to thank our department leaders and staff. Each year, they are tasked with preparing budgets that balance the operational needs of their department with the city's broader fiscal realities. And once again, they have delivered proposals with minimal operational increases, demonstrating their continued commitment to responsible budgeting and cost control. And our finance director wanted to make sure that I gave a shout out to our printer, which is brand new this year as well, Silver Direct. They got this document today and had this turned around for us tonight so that you would have it. Otherwise, we would be printing 20 copies on the printer, which is possible, and I told Carrie if that was what we needed to do, that's what we would do. But they did this in a very short amount of time, and it came out great, and so they do deserve a shout out. And this year, as part of the process, Deputy City Manager Andy Bohannon attended all the budget meetings alongside me as part of a cross-training effort to familiarize him with my budget responsibilities and prepare him to assume greater roles in the future. There's a lot that goes into the preparation of the budget, and so it's important that more people understand that. And that we have other people participating in the process. So it was great for Andy to be able to sit in all of the department meetings, and in the final part when we're making all the numbers work as well. Deputy City Manager Rebecca Landry also sat in the hard decision-making process. We didn't make her sit in on all the individual department reviews, but when we came together to say, okay, what do we need to do to make these numbers work and to meet the fiscal policy, we did it as a team, and so it was a great process. The fiscal policy, the council's fiscal policy limits property tax revenue increases to a rolling 3-year average of the Northeast Region CPI. We changed that a year ago. It was the Boston Cambridge before. And this is excluding expenditures required by law, debt service payments, and capital leases. This year's average is 4.1%, so the fiscal policy details can be found on page 6 of the budget. It breaks it down in terms of how that's calculated. This proposed budget is $468,506 below the city's fiscal policy limit, and as I have done in the past, I made adjustments until the budget fell well below the fiscal policy threshold and the tax rate was within a good range. The result is an anticipated 2.06 increase in the city's portion of the tax rate. I am very happy with that. This is approximately 27 cents per thousand on the rate, and there are several things that are included in that. So staffing, the budget includes 4 additional firefighters, 1 per shift, recently approved by the City Council. It does not include expenses associated with a potential SAFER grant award. If awarded, separate appropriations will be requested for gear, training, and equipment that is not covered by the grant. We originally had that in there, but it doesn't make sense to include that until we know, in fact, that we are going to be able to apply for and potentially receive it. So we backed that out, but we did, of course, include the 4 additional firefighters you recently approved. And also, so just a summary, in the fire department, the fire suppression wage-related lines are increased by $478,000, and ambulance wage-related lines are increased by $170,000. So that's a combination of the 4 firefighters, 1 per shift, plus the 3% COLA for the union and non-union employees. There's also a significant increase in the library for part-time wages. That is increased by $126,000 to align with staffing changes made over the last few years. We've been fortunate the last couple of years because they haven't been fully staffed that hasn't been an issue, but now that they are, that is an issue, and so we have made some adjustments for them and so that they could be fully staffed. Wages are shown on page 9 of the book, and you will see that increases in the budget are primarily wage related. Adjustments reflect union contracts and non-union wage increases, including a 3% COLA. So of the $1.59 million increase in expenditures, now that's not net, that's increase in the expenditure, 1.49 is wage related. So that tells you that the remaining 103,469 is the net change in operational costs. It's a very small amount. Capital improvements, the second year of the city's 2025 to 2031 capital improvement program has been updated. The only change was moving the downtown public restrooms project out another year. It was listed for fiscal 26 as a debt project. And so because we don't currently have a plan for fiscal 26, we are preparing for, if there is going to be a public restroom, to make sure that there are infrastructure included under the ground as part of the downtown project. And the Gilbo Ave portion of that project doesn't occur until fiscal 27. So I moved out the bathroom, and so that's not in the debt number. And then the West Keene Fire Station continues to be moved out and listed as a project that won't move forward until grant funding has been identified. So you can see all of those capital items on beginning on page 49. And then in regards to revenue and our valuation, as you know, the city completed our last revaluation in 2021 during a period of significant real estate appreciation. I'd like to say it was then, but it has continued, right? So it continues to be a significant increase. So our next revaluation is scheduled for next year, which is expected to increase assessed values and lower the tax rate accordingly. But what this means for us this year is that the equalized ratio has dropped again from 72.8% to 66.8%, reflecting a continued increase in the real estate market. So what this means is homes that are assessed at $250,000 right now by the city are typically selling for around $374,000. Tax rate estimates assume a conservative projection with no net increase in citywide assessed value. And the reason for that is that each year when when our equalized value continues to drop, we need to adjust our utility values, and this would be the third year we've had to do that, and that is about a $6 to an $8 million adjustment in value. And so we are estimating that we will be able to offset that with other increases in the community, citywide. So we're just estimating a level assessed value. That's a conservative way to go. You'd want to be conservative when you're doing the budget, and then hopefully you come in actually higher than that. In regards to revenue projections, our interest income is up. It's one of the things that actually made a big difference in this budget, is up $600,000 in this budget, and then motor vehicle registrations is up $165,000, and ambulance billing $200,000. Oh my goodness. It's like I'm gonna cough. And
Easier to
can we have
prepare
like
than
a
to
TV
breathe.
break for commercials? All right, so state municipal aid, including meals and rooms, tax revenue is projected to remain level with current figures. As we heard at the NHMA legislative session, the House is including meals and rooms at the same amount as our current year. So that's how we've included it in the budget. In regards to staffing, to comply with fiscal policy adjustments we have made some adjustments to the staffing levels. We did this last year. In the police department, last year we unfunded one police position. We didn't remove it. They could still hire for that position, but because we've had vacancies in the department, we've had money left over at the end of the year, so we were able to trim some of that off. This year we've unfunded one position in this budget. The fire marshal position is funded through both the community development office at 20% and the fire department at 80%. And we have offset these costs by funding only 50% of one of the fire department deputy positions and 50% of the building health official position, which was once held by John Rogers before he retired. So in conclusion, I think that this balance does a great job of carefully balancing costs while also maintaining service levels, addressing long-term infrastructure needs, and managing the pressure on the tax rate. It represents a collaborative effort by staff across the organization to align with the council's fiscal policy while continuing to meet community expectations. So the next step in the process is the budget review, which begins Tuesday, May 6th, at a special FOP meeting, which will start at 5:30. Now, instead of going over all of the schedule for meetings, it's in your book and in your memo. So in the back of the budget memo, on the very back, it is the schedule. So May 1 is tonight's introduction of the budget. Then on the 6th is the first FOP meeting. But then there's another meeting, the regular meeting of FOP, which is May 8th. We will be starting early again at 5:30. And then May 13th, there's a special FOP meeting with a start time of 5:30. The 15th, a few days later, we have council. And at council, the bond resolutions will be introduced, including the salary ordinance. May 20th, another special FOP meeting at 5:30, and then May 22nd, a regular FOP meeting. And that'll be the night there will be recommendations from FOP on the budget and the salary ordinance and bond resolutions. And then finally, we have the June 5th regular council meeting where the public hearing will be held on the budget, and then hopefully adoption of the budget on June 19th. So for anyone following along, this is available on the city's website, or will be tomorrow, along with the budget. And I apologize for losing my voice. I do not know why that happened, but I made it through.
Well done. Thank you very much for teeing up the budget, for providing us with the overview memo, which I think covers much of what the introduction that you provided. So, councilors, you've got a quick reference with the memo, and yeah, start reading and prepare for next week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really pleased with how the budget worked out. I will be honest, I was concerned with the additional costs of the 4 firefighters and the increase in those wage lines, that it would be difficult to meet the fiscal policy thresholds. It was included as part of the base budget, but even then, we were able to offset it with some additional revenues and some changes elsewhere in the budget and keep the budget increase to a small amount. So, quite pleased with that.
And that is the council's challenge, is to see how tight that is, and see if we can hold to your recommendations. So more to follow, obviously, in the next few months, or next month, excuse me, and Councilor Powers, you and the Finance Organization and Personnel Committee will lead us through that conversation. I know, you'll be well assisted. Okay, we will move on to section F, and we have one item.
So we have a memorandum from the Deputy City Manager, Andy Bohannon, and this relates to reallocation of operating funds for the Recreation Center.
So as we did with one other operating budget discussion item last meeting, I'd like to recognize Councilor Powers for a motion to suspend the rules.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would move to suspend the rules of order, section 26, to act upon this item.
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moved by Councilor Powers and seconded by Councilor Lake.
He's in La La Land. He doesn't know what he can't see us doing what we're doing. The reason we're doing this, and as we've we've all said from time to time, we don't like to suspend the rules. We didn't meet last week, so there's a good side to that and there's a bad side. We've got an item that was on the docket. We come in, dragging everybody in for one item wasn't sensible that we could take care of it tonight. This has to do with Parks Recreation Facilities on Washington Street. You know, there's a great project going on there, and it's almost done. And like every other project, we're a little bit short on funds to make it complete. And through the magic of looking through the budget, particularly towards the end of the year, Public Works Department has some funds in their facilities section that would be available to move it over to the project. We're looking for completion by the end of August because that coincides with the grant speculations and all of their requirements to get this thing done. So that's why we're asking to suspend the rules.
Thank
We
you.
need to vote on
Counselor,
that.
any?
We need to roll call that first,
Yes,
right?
we will first act on the suspension of our rules in accordance with Rule 26. If no further comment on that, we'll do a roll call.
Counselor Bosley?
Yes.
Counselor Tobin?
Yes.
Counselor Remy?
Yes.
Counselor Williams?
Yes.
Counselor Haas?
Yes.
Counselor Jones?
Yes.
Counselor Madison?
Yes.
Counselor Roberts?
Yes.
Counselor Favelise?
Yes.
Counselor Lake?
Yes.
Counselor Workman?
Yes.
Counselor Powers?
Yes.
Counselor Greenwald?
Yes.
That motion carries. I'd like to recognize Counselor Powers for a motion.
So I'd like to move that the city council reallocate $20,000 from the facilities of Public Works Department 6531-6672, the operating budget, to the Brian A. Mattson Recreation Project 65J0005A.
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Lake. Anything further, Counselor
I
Powers?
think we covered it in the
Okay,
beginning there.
very
so.
good. Any questions from counselors? Counselor Lake?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to clarify, is it, make sure it's in there right, was it 4A or 5A on the project number there? I think Councilor Powers had said 5A, but I just want to make sure it's the right bucket. I know in our packet it said 4A.
It's 4A. Thank you.
Oh,
Good catch,
Yeah, it's
Counselor Lake.
there's 2 pieces of paper. That's where you give me more than 1 piece of paper. Look what you get.
Okay, with that accepted technical adjustment, we'll proceed with correcting the 5A with a 4A in the motion. So with that correction, any further comment? None seen? Would the clerk please call the roll?
Counselor Bosley?
Yes.
Counselor Tobin?
Yes.
Counselor Remy?
Yes.
Counselor Williams?
Yes.
Counselor Haas?
Yes.
Counselor Jones?
Yes.
Counselor Madison?
Yes.
Counselor Roberts?
Yes.
Counselor Favelise?
Yes.
Counselor Lake?
Yes.
Counselor Workman?
Yes.
Counselor Powers?
Yes.
Counselor Greenwald?
Yes.
And we have one other item under city reports.
And this is a 79E revitalization tax relief application for 34 Court Street that was submitted by Dan Langiel, the city assessor, on behalf of applicant Zach Luce.
And we will need to set a public hearing. That will be set for May 15th at 7 p.m. And we'll refer this application to Finance Organization Personnel Committee thereafter.
Good.
Good? All good.
Keep checking how you keep that.
I actually looked at that.
You did?
And it was FOP. And the,
Because of the 79E component. Yes?
okay. I did the research bit in advance for the assessor. Okay, fair. You ready to move on?
Yes. Let's move on. In any case, the public hearing on this 79E application, that will take place at our council meeting on May 15th.
Next, we have item G1, which is a memorandum from the Joint Planning Board PLD Committee, and this relates to Ordinance O 2025-08A, an ordinance relating to feather signs in industrial zones, and the Planning Board has deemed this consistent with the master plan, and they are requesting that a public hearing be scheduled.
And that will be scheduled for June 5th at 7 p.m. We're starting to spread these out, and this is plodding its way through the process.
And we have item G2, a further memo from the Joint Planning Board PLD Committee, and this one relates to Ordinance O 2025-09, relating to single-family parking requirements. And this was also found consistent with the 2010 master plan, and the memo requests that a hearing be scheduled.
And that too will be scheduled for the June 5th, 2025 meeting, immediately following the public hearing on the feather sign ordinance. So plan on 7 and around 7:05 for the second public hearing. We move on to other reports.
So we have 4 more time reports on the agenda coming out of MSFI. First is related to safety issues at the 82 Court Street driveway. The second is related to Court Street pedestrian safety risks. The third relates to audio and data cables as part of the downtown infrastructure project. This is a request to add that to the project. And finally, a proposal to add the necessary infrastructure to accommodate banners across Main Street.
And more time is granted to the committees for consideration of these items. Oh, Councilor Remy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just am curious on numbers 3 and 4, if those go into more time instead of being put in directly as bid alternates, is going to make them too late to then be added as bid alternates and not be able to be included. I know the idea of a bid alternate is we're not sure yet, we want to get the price, and it seems like the committee is trying to get sure before they ask for that optional price. I just want to make sure we're not going to prevent these from going forward based on the delay.
Councilor Greenwald, would you care to
Didn't really
address the
understand
question,
what
City Manager?
I understand. I'm gonna put Brian Ruoff on the spot because I don't know when exactly we plan to go out to bid, but you're right, we would need to know whether it's going to be a bid alternate before then. So Brian, what do you think?
Sure. For the record, Brian Ruoff, City Engineer. The plan is to put the downtown project out to bid by the end of October. Established at that point the details that we would need to work out for the design or add to the specifications and project plans. We did, when we were doing the boring program, do borings at the location where the banner posts are proposed. So we've already done the preliminary engineering to be able to potentially incorporate that into the project. So personally, I don't see any reason why these two aspects could still be incorporated into the project for the bid.
Okay, I think you've addressed the Councilor Remy's question.
Thank you. That's perfect.
Yep, very good. Okay, more time is granted than on all 4 items, and we'll move on to ordinances for first reading, section I.
So our first ordinance is submitted by Jared Goodell. This is a petition to amend the zoning ordinance, and it comes along with Ordinance O 2025-15, an ordinance relating to amendments to the Land Development Code encouraging housing development in Keene.
And we'll refer that to the Joint Planning and Planning Board and Planning Licenses and Development Committee, their joint meeting later this month.
And next we have a memorandum from the Public Works Director, and this comes with Ordinance O 2025-16, an ordinance relating to water and sewer utility charges.
And this is an annual request, and that'll be referred to Finance, Organization, and Personnel Committee.
And finally, we have a second ordinance from Mr. Goodell. This relates to amendments to definitions in the Land Development Code to encourage housing development in Keene, and the definitions relating to charitable gaming facilities. And we have with that ordinance O 2025-17.
I have here that we're referring that to the Planning Licenses and Development Committee, and
That's correct.
we're confirmed on that. Okay. That would be heard, well, I don't know, later this month, right? Next week.
So typically, it would go on more time while the other ordinance tracks through the joint committee process so that they can be taken up together. It's similar to a situation we had recently in the last couple of years with partner ordinances relating to different segments of the LDC. Maybe Amanda would like to.
All I'll add is it's just one of those fun quirks of our land development code, having wrapped zoning ordinances with non-zoning ordinances in the same document. One with zoning ordinances goes to the joint committee, and ones that don't amend go just straight to PLD. So 2 things, different tracks related to the same thing.
Okay. Moving on to Section J, then, ordinances for second reading.
We have an ordinance, we have a Municipal Services, Facilities and Infrastructure Committee report relating to Ordinance O 2025-11A. And on a vote of 5-0, the Municipal Services, Facilities and Infrastructure Committee recommends the adoption of Ordinance O 2025-11A. And we have that ordinance, an ordinance relating to yield sign locations.
I think we have
Did I
one
miss
before
one?
that. Yeah,
Oh, I
stop
missed
signs.
one. I skipped ahead. So before that, we have a Municipal Services, Facilities and Infrastructure Committee report regarding O 2025-10A. This relates to stop sign locations. And on a vote of 5-0, the Municipal Services, Facilities and Infrastructure Committee recommends the adoption of O 2025-10A.
And I recognize Councilor Greenwald for a motion.
Oh, it's good to stand up. Move for the adoption of ordinance 0-2025-10A.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Workman. Councilor Greenwald for the committee.
Thank you. Our city engineer, Brian Ruoff, did a really superior job going through the ordinances relating to stop signs, yield signs, and traffic signals. And that's what these following changes are about. It's not really anything new, it's just correcting some errors that are in the code. So first, this is relating to stop signs. It's a list of stop sign locations that are specified, some of which were there and some of which should have been there but weren't there. Anyway, it's clerical, basically. There's nothing really new happening in this ordinance. The committee heard this and recommends adoption.
Councilor Madison.
Thank you, Your Honor. I don't know if this might be more of a question for the city engineer, but it looks like there's something that's a little inconsistent with the stop signs that are to be removed. So you've got Elm Street for northbound traffic at Union Street. Elm Street's one way south in that area, makes sense. You've got Union Street for northbound traffic on Elm Street. Again, Elm Street's southbound in that area, makes sense. Then you have Union Street for southbound traffic on Elm Street, which leads me to believe that this ordinance is calling for the removal of the stop signs on Union Street at the intersection with Elm Street, which is something I would be vehemently opposed to. So I would need some clarification before we move forward about whether or not this ordinance is actually calling for 2 stop signs on Union Street to be removed.
Do we recognize Councilor Ruoff? I'm sorry, Assistant Director.
City Engineer Brian Ruoff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. For the record, Brian Ruoff, City Engineer. The ordinance isn't adding or taking any signs away that exist. This is just adding signs that have been installed but not adopted into city code and deleting signs that no longer exist that are in the city code. A lot of them are locations where roundabouts have been installed or the direction of traffic has changed, like you described, Elm Street. And in some locations, they're locations where they were signs that were in the college and no longer maintained by the city. So there's nothing, we're not trying to circumvent the process, just updating the code to what exists currently.
So Union Street goes east-west. Union Street for southbound traffic on Elm Street is crossed out. Elm Street traffic in that area goes southbound. So if the stop signs exist there, they are there. I live in that neighborhood. I walked by them about an hour and a half ago. My concern is that line does in fact remove them in the city ordinance.
Well, Elm Street runs south and is one way, and it's been that way since 2010, so the description is inconsistent with the rest of city code.
But I'm talking about Union Street for southbound traffic on Elm Street. Elm Street, it's on page 125 of 146. About one line up from the bottom.
Yes, I see it. So this was added, this wasn't in the original reading. This is added by the review of the director. If this is something that does exist and hasn't been removed, we can revise this. To save time, we could re-review this location.
Okay. Are we re-reviewing whether or not the stop sign's gonna stay there?
So the intent of this, again, was to remove signs that are no longer there. So if there is a sign there, then that was a mistake. There were a lot listed, so I apologize if that is in fact the case.
Okay, understood, thank you. Would we need to amend? No. Okay, may I make a motion to amend? Okay. Move to amend the line crossing out Union Street for southbound traffic on Elm Street.
Second.
Okay, I think we've had a pretty thorough conversation about that. No further discussion needed.
Can you turn on your microphone, please?
Sorry. We've had a thorough conversation about that amendment. If there's no further discussion about it, ready to vote on the amendment? Again, we'll need to take a roll call on this.
Counselor Bosley?
Yes.
Counselor Tobin?
Yes.
Counselor Remy?
Yes.
Counselor Williams?
Yes.
Counselor Haas?
Yes.
Counselor Jones?
Yes.
Counselor Madison?
Yes.
Counselor Roberts?
Yes.
Counselor Favelis?
Yes.
Counselor Lake?
Yes.
Counselor Workman?
Yes.
Counselor Powers?
Yes.
Counselor Greenwald?
Yes.
Okay, so that motion carries, or the amendment carries unanimously. We now are back to the main motion. Thank you, Counselor Madison, for finding that correction. Any further conversation on this one? Okay, you've saved us from having to reconsider it on the next meeting. Okay, no further conversation.
We'll need to vote on the B version. Yes. Counselor Bosley?
Yes.
Counselor Tobin?
Yes.
Counselor Remy?
Yes.
Counselor Williams?
Yes.
Counselor Haas?
Yes.
Counselor Jones?
Yes.
Counselor Madison?
Yes.
Counselor Roberts?
Yes.
Counselor Favelis?
Yes.
Counselor Lake?
Yes.
Counselor Workman?
Yes.
Counselor Powers?
Yes.
Counselor Greenwald?
Yes.
So that motion carries unanimously, and what the clerk has pointed out to us is that the correct citation in the motion is 2025-10-B.
That's correct.
Okay. I'd like to recognize Counselor Greenwald for a second motion. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes,
Clerk.
this was read once, but we'll read it again.
Okay.
Municipal Services, Facilities, and Infrastructure Committee report relating to an amendment to the city code regarding yield signs. This relates to Ordinance O 2025-11A, and on a vote of 5-0, the Municipal Services, Facilities, and Infrastructure Committee recommends the adoption of O 2025-11A.
Counselor Greenwald for a motion.
Thank you. Move for the adoption of ordinance 0-2025-11A.
Second.
Someone? Thank you.
Moved by, seconded by Counselor Workman.
Thank you all. Basically the same story as you just heard. This is regarding yield sign locations. It's not a complete listing of signs in the city, it's correction. And hopefully, if there are any more specifics than that, the city engineer is there.
Any corrections or questions that the committee, the council has? Seeing none, move to a vote.
Counselor Bosley?
Yes.
Counselor Tobin?
Yes.
Counselor Remy?
Counselor Remy?
Yes. Yep, sorry.
Thank you.
Counselor Williams?
Yes.
Counselor Haas?
Yes.
Counselor Jones?
Yes.
Counselor Madison?
Yes.
Counselor Roberts?
Yes.
Counselor Favelis?
Yes.
Counselor Lake?
Yes.
Counselor Workman?
Yes.
Counselor Powers?
Yes.
Counselor Greenwald?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
And next, we have item J3. This is a Municipal Services, Facilities, and Infrastructure Committee report relating to an amendment to the city code regarding traffic signals, ordinance O 2025-12. And on a vote of 5-0, the Municipal Services, Facilities, and Infrastructure Committee recommends the adoption of ordinance O 2025-12.
Thank you. And Counselor Greenwald
Thank
for a
you.
motion.
Move for the adoption of ordinance 0/2025-12.
Second.
Second by Counselor
Thank you.
Tobin.
Good time. Okay, same story. This is regarding traffic signal, updating the code to reflect reality.
Any questions on these changes? Seeing none, would the clerk call the roll?
Counselor Bosley?
Yes.
Counselor Tobin?
Yes.
Counselor Remy?
Yes.
Counselor Williams?
Yes.
Counselor Haas?
Yes.
Counselor Jones?
Yes.
Counselor Madison?
Yes.
Counselor Roberts?
Yes.
Counselor Favelis?
Yes.
Counselor Lake?
Yes.
Counselor Workman?
Yes.
Counselor Powers?
Yes.
Counselor Greenwald?
Yes.
That motion carries unanimously. And one more.
And this is item J4. This is a Municipal Services, Facilities, and Infrastructure Committee report relating to an amendment to the city code regarding vehicle turning limitations. And on a vote of 5-0, the Municipal Services, Facilities, and Infrastructure Committee recommends the adoption of O 2025-13A, and we have ordinance O 2025-13A relating to turning limitations.
Counselor Greenwald for a motion.
Okay. Move for the adoption of ordinance 0/2025-13A.
Second.
Second by
Thank you.
Counselor Tobin. Counselor Greenwald?
Thank you. Same thing, going through the code to reflect the current situation. Turning limitations is an interesting phrase. That's regarding no turns signs and also center medians that have been installed.
Any questions, corrections? Seeing none, would the clerk call the roll?
Counselor Bosley?
Yes.
Counselor Tobin?
Yes.
Counselor Remy? Counselor Remy?
Yes.
Counselor Williams?
Yes.
Counselor Haas?
Yes.
Counselor Jones?
Yes.
Counselor Madison?
Yes.
Counselor Roberts?
Yes.
Counselor Favelis?
Yes.
Counselor Lake?
Yes.
Counselor Workman?
Yes.
Counselor Powers?
Yes.
Counselor Greenwald?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. And I'm sorry, there is one more from PO. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, would the clerk deal with J5?
Yes, we have a Municipal Services, Facilities, and Infrastructure Committee report relating to the installation of a stop sign on Wilbur Street at Water Street. And on a vote of 5-0, the Municipal Services, Facilities, and Infrastructure Committee recommends the adoption of Ordinance O 2025-14A. And we have Ordinance O 2025-14A, an ordinance relating to installation of a stop sign on Wilbur and Water Streets.
Counselor Greenwald?
Thank you. Move for the adoption of ordinance 0/2025-14A.
Second.
Thank you.
Seconded by Counselor Tobin.
The MSFI committee is sometimes jokingly called the Stop Sign Committee. So here's a new one for you all. Very much needed. Wilbur Street at Water Street. The neighborhood individuals came forward suggesting this, and being that I drive that daily, it definitely is a needed stop sign. It meets the warrants as described in the MUTCD for stop sign, and the engineering department recommends the installation.
Questions or corrections? Seeing none, Would the clerk please call the roll?
Counselor Bosley?
Yes.
Counselor Tobin?
Yes.
Counselor Remy?
Yes.
Counselor Williams?
Yes.
Counselor Haas?
Yes.
Counselor Jones?
Yes.
Counselor Madison?
Yes.
Counselor Roberts?
Yes.
Counselor Fablelise?
Yes.
Counselor Lake?
Yes.
Counselor Workman?
Yes.
Counselor Powers?
Yes.
Counselor Jones?
Yeah.
Counselor Greenwald?
Yes.
And that motion carries unanimously. We are moving on to Resolution Section K.
And we have a memorandum from our finance director / treasurer, and this is accompanied by Resolution R 2025-12, a resolution relating to the 2025-2026 fiscal year budget.
And as previously described by the city manager, we will set a public hearing on the operating budget for June 5th, and this will occur after the other two public hearings at approximately 7:10 on that date, June 5th. Having concluded the regular business before us today, I'd like to then ask Counselor Greenwald for a motion.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to go into non-public session to discuss land matters pursuant to RSA 91-A3 2D, to receive legal advice pursuant to RSA 91A3 2L, and for consideration of the release of non-public minutes pursuant to RSA 91A3 2M.
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Bosley. Assuming no discussion, we'll do a roll call on moving into non-public session.
Counselor Bosley?
Yes.
Counselor Tobin?
Yes.
Counselor Remy?
Yes.
Counselor Williams?
Yes.
Counselor Haas?
Yes.
Counselor Jones?
Yes.
Counselor Madison?
Yes.
Counselor Roberts?
Yes.
Counselor Fablelise?
Yes.
Counselor Lake?
Yes.
Counselor Workman?
Yes.
Counselor Powers?
Yes.
Counselor Greenwald?
Yes.
And we'll take a 5-minute recess, and Counselor Remy, expect a phone call. Okay, thank you.